It's time to live your stronger life. Hey, I'm Sammy, physio coach and nutritionist, and your hype girl for creating your stronger life. Here, we ditch the quick fixes and build real strength inside and out. So whether you're here to tone up, drop the body fat, build muscle, mental resilience, or ditch the diet culture, or just feel bloody good in your skin, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. Hey fam, welcome back to the podcast. So today we're talking about something I know a lot of you struggle with, but you are always trying to do, which is a calorie deficit. Because let's be honest, most people think fat loss has to be miserable. Constant hunger, low energy, and thinking about food 24/7. And I promise you that is just not true. So in this episode, I'm going to share my best tips to make calorie deficits suck a whole lot less without extreme dieting, without suffering, and without hating your life. So let's get into it with tip number 1. Prioritize your protein. If you want to feel fuller for longer, protein is your best friend. Now, there's all different numbers out there about what they kind of recommend, and I'm just going to make it really, really simple for you. Most women, somewhere between 130 to 160 grams of protein per day is pretty damn good for most females. Yes, it is dependent on your activity levels, your age, how much you weigh, how much muscle mass you have, if you're a bit older, if you're really active, or if you're trying to build muscle, or if you are in a big calorie deficit, then you need more protein. If you're more sedentary, you don't have a lot of muscle mass, well, be more active and start building muscle. But younger people as well, they can get away with the lower end. There's different recommendations between 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilo of lean muscle mass, like lean body mass, sorry. So there's lots of things, and you can do all the maths and different recommendations. And, if you're over the age of 40, then you need to increase it by 1% for every age you're over 40. You can see where it can start to get a little bit complicated. So I just want to keep it really simple for you. Just honestly, anywhere between 130 and 160 grams per day for most women is going to be a pretty banging spot to start with without overcomplicating it. And no, that does not mean weighing out 130 grams of chicken on your plate. That would only give you about 35 to 40 grams of actual protein. There is a difference between the weight of the protein food and the amount of protein that is inside of it. So that may be a common mistake that a lot of ladies make. They go, I'm getting 30 grams of protein per meal, and they're literally putting 30 grams of chicken, 30 grams of mince, 30 grams of yogurt. No, that isn't giving you 30 grams of protein. That is you consuming 30 grams of a food that has some protein in it. So for example, like I just mentioned, 130 grams of chicken on your plate, you could get 35, 40, maybe 45 grams of chicken, depending on whether it's chicken breast or thigh. If you did 2 eggs, which is going to be about 100 grams, you're going to get about 12 grams of protein. If you did one of those high protein yogurt pouches, they are 140 grams of yogurt, but that's only going to give you 15 grams of protein. And for every 1 gram of protein, there is 4 calories as well. So there's just different factors to consider in that whole mix, but just know that the physical weight of the protein rich food doesn't equate to the amount of protein that you're actually getting. They are 2 different things and something to be very considerate of. So if you're trying to get 130 grams of protein in a day, that's going to look like, potentially 1 scoop of protein powder, that's going to get you close to 30 grams of protein. If you had 2 eggs, that would be 12 grams of protein. If you had a can of tuna, that's going to get you about 15 to 18 grams of protein, depending on which can that you get. If you put 100 grams of chicken on your plate, you're going to get 25, 30 grams of protein. So you can see how it adds up over the day, if you did 200 grams of meat spread over lunch and dinner, if you had 2 eggs, if you had a high protein yogurt, if you had a protein shake, there's not that much that you need to do to hit that protein target. And once you understand how much of each of those foods that you need and in what combination to hit your target, it's actually really bloody easy to hit your protein. In fact, when you do find it, a lot of ladies are going over because it's actually quite enjoyable to eat those particular protein foods. But now, why is protein so important? It is the most satiating macronutrient. It digests slowly, so you feel fuller for longer, and it helps you to retain muscle when combined with strength training, and then promote you to drop body fat when you're in a calorie deficit as opposed to losing muscle mass. And as a fun little bonus, you do burn slightly more calories digesting protein than you do carbs and fats. So if you had a high protein diet, then your thermic effect of digesting your food is going to be a tiny little bit higher than if you had a high carb and high fat with low protein diet. But really, it's very minuscule. But every little 1% can count. So if you are constantly hungry, if you're constantly struggling with energy, you're not performing in the gym, you're not building any muscle, you're not getting any stronger, and potentially even if you get sick a lot too, then chances are your protein intake is too low. Okay, tip number 2, veggies, the ultimate volume hack. So vegetables are elite when it comes to fat loss. They're low in calories, they are high in fiber, they are great for digestion, they keep you full, and they give you loads of vitamins and minerals. They are just so good for you throughout the lifespan, but in a dieting phase, they should be your secret weapon. So for example, like try eating 500 calories of carrots and then try eating 500 calories of chocolate and tell me which one is going to leave you feeling fuller. Exactly. You would struggle to eat 500 calories of carrots in one go. So what I want you to aim for is a minimum of 300 grams of veggies per day, but realistically get closer to 500 or 600 grams or more if you can. This is one of the easiest ways to stay full, eat more food whilst in a calorie deficit. And the bonus is there are so many veggies that are out there, so you can have such a wide variety. Therefore, you're not eating the same thing over and over and over again. You can get different flavor profiles, different texture profiles. There's different ways to utilize the same veggie in all different ways. They are so versatile, and you can literally just buy, if you hate cooking, if you hate prepping, grab a bag of frozen veggies. They're not going to go off. They're going to stay fresh for, like, not fresh, they're frozen, but they're going to stay fabulous for ages, and they're super easy to throw into your meals to bulk out any sort of dish that you have. Okay, tip number 3, stop starving yourself. Literally, stop trying to eat 1,000 calories a day and then wonder why you're always hungry, because that's not discipline. That is just your biology. That is your body fighting back saying, hey bitch, 1,000 calories ain't enough and I am starving. And so I'm going to make you hungrier so that you're more likely to then go and eat. Extreme deficits will tank your energy, they will make you miserable, and they increase your risk of binge and restrict cycles. So therefore, destroying your consistency. And ladies, you do not need to suffer to lose body fat. A sensible, sustainable deficit that you can actually stick to will always beat an extreme one that you quit after 2 weeks. And if you're genuinely eating 1,000 calories, because more often than not, you think you're eating 1,000, but you're not tracking accurately and you're not counting the binges on the side. So if you're genuinely actually eating 1,000 calories and you're not hungry, we actually need to talk, because that is not normal either. And it's a really big flag to us that your body has adapted to this, and we need to get it out of that zone very quickly. But gently on your system, because also if you've been eating 1,000 calories and then you try and go up to like 1,800 or something, your stomach is going to be like, what the heck just happened to me? And then you're going to get a lot of digestive issues. So you do want to gradually build the calories up, because it does just help to minimize any digestive issues along the way as well. Okay, number 4, stop drinking your calories. This one is huge and this one is simple. You will always feel fuller when you eat your calories rather than drinking them. Liquid calories don't trigger fullness the same way that solid food does, especially crunchy foods. So if you're sipping half of your intake, don't be surprised that you're hungry all the time. So some really simple swaps, like have a black coffee instead of having sugary, full fat, full milk, lattes, gigantic lattes. And if you're like, no, Sammy, I'm not cutting out the milk. It's like, cool, that's fine. Have like a long black with like milk on the top, or switch to skim or almond milk over full cream. And instead of having real sugar, just switch to a stevia or a sugar-free sweetener. You're not going to have that much of it that is that big of a deal, but it is, every little calorie does count, and it's just waste, like honestly, it's just wasting calories. Why have a real sugar when there's actually like fantastic tasting sugar-free like alternatives? And stevia is pretty chill as well. So it's not like for some people who get irritants to their tummy if they have sugar alcohols, and stevia is a great option, for example. And another one, like, can we please just stop drinking normal sodas? Like, I don't understand. Just switch it to a diet soda. You're literally saving hundreds of calories. They literally taste the same, and it's just one of the easiest swaps that you can absolutely make straight away, and it doesn't even feel like you're actually dieting. Sleep and hydration, tip number 5. They matter more than you think. If you are tired, your hunger hormones get messed up. Less sleep means more hungry. More hungry is more cravings. More cravings, you're going to reach for quick sugary fixes to try and get an energy hit. And then suddenly your deficit is gone and you're wondering why you can't get out of the cupboard because you're turning into a snack monster. So yeah, go to bed and get enough sleep. And then on top of that, hydration. Aiming for 2 to 3 liters of water a day will help to keep you more satiated, because it sometimes can be really hard to determine if you're hungry or if you're just thirsty. So make sure you're drinking adequate water. It'll also help support your digestive system, especially if you are eating a lot more veggies, then you're eating a lot more fiber. You want to make sure you support your digestive system by drinking lots of water. So get a cute bottle and treat it like it's your Friday night wine bottle that you know you could down in 5 seconds. You can down that water bottle in 5 seconds too, girl. So drink up. Tip number 6. Accept that some hunger is just normal. Here's the mindset shift that most people need. Hunger does not mean you're failing. Hunger does not mean you're dying, and it does not mean there's something wrong. It's actually a good thing if you get a little bit hungry. It means your body's doing the thing that it's supposed to do. It means your body is burning stored energy, which we also want to call our body fat. So the goal isn't to eliminate hunger completely, it's just to make it manageable. Use the strategies we've talked about: eating enough protein, high volume foods, sensible deficits, solid calories, good sleep, proper hydration, and just keep it chill. Fat loss doesn't need to feel dramatic. I promise you, it's okay to feel a little hungry. You will survive. And if you've been dieting for a really long period of time and you're really bloody hungry and you can't stop thinking about food and your calories are really low, then just go and have a maintenance break for a week or two. Reset your hunger hormones. Get yourself feeling refreshed. Drop the food cravings, eat some of the foods that you just can't stop thinking about in a reasonable amount, and then you can go back into your deficit phase 2. Having little breaks can also really help to manage the hunger if it does start to get too extreme. So I hope this episode helps, and if you know someone who struggles with their calorie deficits and always feeling hungry all the time, then do share this one to them, and I shall see y'all in the next one. Thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please rate, review, and subscribe. And I'd love if you shared this on your Instagram and tag me Sammy_livestrong. And if you'd like to learn more about my coaching and join the Project Livestrong family, please message me Livestrong on Instagram, and I'll see how I can help. I'll see you next time.